All right. Welcome back to Taking the New Approach podcast. I am so grateful to be here again doing another episode. And this one, I think you're going to really get something out of this one, right? Not like you're not getting something out of the other ones, but I definitely geared this towards more mainstream a little bit, but not really. You'll see what I'm saying. You probably already clicked on the video and know what I'm talking about. So thank you. If you've never been here before, let me first thank you for clicking on the video. I always tell people when you click on the video, it's the reason why you clicked on the video. The universe does not make mistakes. It is something here for you to learn. So get it and use it and leave the rest, okay? And so what I typically do, we're going to start off again, always in the beginning, we start off taking in 2 deep breaths so that we could ground ourselves in the now. That is always very important. That is where your power is. The future, the past does not exist. It's only in your mind, right? The only thing that's happening is right now. So on the count of 3, you take your deep breath in, release it, do it again, release it, and then we'll just get straight to the topic. I don't like to do all the other stuff, right? So 1, 2, 3, take a deep breath in. And take another deep breath in. I feel so good. I say this all the time, but it really feels good. It's just like I get this like a little high or something, or just like I'm just like decompressing, and I just feel so relaxed when I just breathe very deeply and let it out, right? And I always want us to come back to our power. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you today about I found these questions, right? And I've been doing this because I just love to study the mind, study humans. Like, it's all about healing and things of that nature, but I really want to learn, right? I'm a researcher. I'm a scientist, right? I don't have a degree in science. I studied a lot of science in college, but I don't have a degree or anything, but you don't need one to know information if you're doing the real research and know the methodology, right? So I want to understand people. I love to see the behavior of people. Like, I'm a people watcher. Like, I love, like, in college, I would just like sit on the bench in like a certain part of school, and I would just watch people. Like, I wouldn't even do anything. I was just watching people and their interactions, and just like people enjoying and, smiling at people, interacting with other people along the way. But sometimes I would just sit and watch. You could say that's weird or whatever, but no, it's not really. I just it was always something that interested me, and how people behave and how people walked and, what people were wearing and how the facial expressions on people's face. It really always like just was something I was into. I didn't really understand it at the time. I didn't really now I get it because I'm in this field of helping and wanting to help more people and dealing with trauma and stuff of that nature. But at the time, it was kind of more like a subconscious thing acting out. So what I want to talk to you today is about questions, right? So these questions are going to help you to intensify, the love with another person, right? Or having a person fall in love, right? Even though we know it's really about us learning how to connect with people, right? Because like in school, they didn't really teach us how to really interact with people. Like, I had a communication class, like, I think it was sophomore year in high school, and they kind of taught us like just the different like the parts of the throat, and like we had to learn how to do speeches and kind of debate a little bit, and that was cool. But I went to a kind of more privileged school that other people didn't go to. right? And even then, it was kind of basic. Like, even when I got to college, even though he did give me, but I've always been that type of person. So that's a whole different story. But like in college, I didn't take communication and I didn't really understand it because it was like the easy degree per se, as they would say. So this is really about learning how to connect with people, not only on a surface level, but really deeper and really having this emotional connection with someone, right? And it's up to us to choose when we're asking these questions and when we're not. And I think a lot of times in our relationships, and I did one, and I'll link that video because finally I'm getting a little YouTube savvy now. I'm feeling myself, but we sometimes struggle, right? Like we sometimes struggle with our relationships because we don't really understand how people operate. We don't understand how our mind operate. We don't understand, like, for instance, the best words that someone could hear are their own words. It's called the echo technique. And it's like, if you could have someone who knows how to talk to you, right? Not for manipulation, but to give you a better sensation of feeling of connections, of feeling understood, of really giving you a better experience all the time that you talk to them. Wouldn't you prefer that over the I'm gonna guess and do me, and if you like me, cool. If you don't, like, it becomes like we need to be more intentional and purposeful with our interactions. And that's why I'm doing this, so that people can have some type of guideline. And I'll give you I'll give you more information where you can find the stuff. So the questions, right, are based on 36 questions to help you fall in love, right? So I'm going to go through most of them, and I'm just going to kind of talk about it. So it will be a long podcast, so you can take your time with it and stuff like that. So I won't try to draw it out too long, but I will get my point across because, I'm feeling it. Spirit's talking to me. So the first question, right? So let's say you meet someone and you go on a date, or maybe you're just talking to them, right? But preferably, I don't know why I was struggling. Preferably, you need to. This would be good if you were face to face, but you could definitely text it, right? Or definitely over the phone would be good. Over the phone or in person is better. But the first question they give you is, given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? Now, this might seem like very simple, but it's very powerful because it lets you know what this person is about. And like I said, a lot of times we get lost in the very superficial stuff. We always assume that, at least like mainstream society kind of shows you, at least in my prior dating experience and watching other people's dating experience, listening to people talk about relationships, reading people's comments all over the place and articles and stuff, all that good jazz. What I've seen is that a lot of people just are superficial on the surface level, right? Go to the date, what's your favorite color, all this other nonsense, right? But it's really okay to get to know a person on a deeper level quickly. Okay? Like, it's nothing wrong with that. And we got to get out of this, oh, well, that's not cool, or I don't want to do that. That's not how it should go. It's like, it should go that way. You want to know, because a lot of times we're wasting time. Imagine if you can get to the point, make a great connection with someone. If it doesn't work, you still had a great time and you get to go on about your life. Like, would you really be mad about that? Like, would that be the end of the world for you? It shouldn't, right? Like, it just really shouldn't. So, and also, like, I get it. Like, a lot of times, a lot of things are just like a sexual transaction, right? Like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get the box and go, right? Especially dudes, right? And I get it. Sometimes, like, it's some women out here that be like, oh, you know what, spirituality, you're going to have to wait right here because homegirl's bad. And the mother love, like, hey, girl, you know. But we have to, we have to get past that. Life is more than just sex. So being able to see who this person wants to bring as a dinner guest lets you pry into their real self and what they really care about. Like, imagine, like, if they want to bring someone, you know, I don't know, you name them, Ida B. Wells, right? Don't know who that is? Go look up. Very powerful woman back in the day. Or maybe it might be their grandmother. Or maybe it was a teacher that they had. Or it could be a celebrity, right? Imagine a girl saying, you know what, I would bring my grandmother. That's interesting. Why would you bring your grandmother? Or a guy saying he'll bring his grandmother. Why would you bring your grandma? That's really interesting. Now you understand, like, is this person a family person? Because if your values are based off, like, hey, I want a family person, I want a person who is a family oriented person, well, ding, 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 there goes on that, okay, that's one thing checked off the list. If this person wants to bring their grandparent as a dinner guest over all the people they could choose. It's a lot different than someone saying they want to bring Cardi B, right? Like, it's just a difference. And you kind of know what up the street they are. If that's your type, then now you know. And even if they said that, you can ask more questions into why. Because you never know what they might like Cardi B just because she came from a rough upbringing and she made something of herself. They might not agree with that lifestyle and want to behave that way, but they appreciate the come up. And so they might want to be able to pry into that person's mind of how she did it, right? So there's no reason to judge. So the second one is, would you like to be famous, and in what way? Again, very simple questions, but it allows you now to understand what people are thinking and what they're really about. Because if you could see, like, dang, this person is just really superficial, like, this is a narcissistic person. Now you understand you can no longer blame, like, oh, they was hiding themselves. They was hiding, they lying, they tricking. No. This is why I'm doing this, is because now you're able to assess for yourself. And now you could be like, okay, you know what? I just made a mistake. I just didn't I just didn't listen to my intuition, or I just had poor assessment skills. It happens. I don't know everyone's upbringing. Maybe you didn't understand. Maybe you did grow up in a house where the type of partners your parent brought in, that's all you know. So that's all you attract. So when you're asking these questions and they just throwing out stuff and you're like, okay, you don't know how to discern. But that's okay. We're here to grow. And this is why I'm giving you these questions. Third question. All right. And even when you're asking all these questions, try to go in line, but you don't have to get to all of them. Right? After a certain flow, you'll start to ask the real questions that you need to ask, right? But stick to this flow. And so the third one is, before making a phone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say? And then it says why. Some people are sure of themselves. Some people are not sure of themselves. This allows you to see if someone has low self-esteem, right? Because, like, or maybe they're just really careful, They want to be sure of themselves, and they have more confidence when they are rehearsing things, because then later on, let's say you get in a relationship with this person, right? You know how to approach certain things with them because just by this answer, if you're really an introspective person, that's the key too. Because if I hear someone says, "Oh yeah, I always like to rehearse things," then that means when I'm planning stuff, it doesn't mean necessarily they're not a big person on surprises, but it does probably mean that they would like to be notified a little bit ahead of time on certain things, right? So if you can debrief them on things in a certain amount of time so they can get themselves together, even if you don't ever talk about it, they might really appreciate it, right? A lot of things are not said, but are just like subliminal. It's not really stated, but it's kind of like this overt language and covert language within relationships, which is a funny thing to me, but it's true. Like when someone does something, you might not always come out and tell them, but you do feel a certain type of way, right? So, same way, like you just debriefing them and things of that nature, it might make them feel more comfortable and start to trust you even more. And it might never be stated relationship about it, right? So just understand that. I'm just giving you examples because I want to make sure it's clear, because some people just go out throwing these questions out, and I like to always make sure people have examples and get an idea of stuff, so then they can adjust it to for themselves so they can really internalize it. The fourth thing, what would constitute a perfect day for you? Right? Kind of about self-love. What is your perfect day? Also gives you tips for future dates and things to do, right? Like a lot of this stuff is very helpful for you. And I think if we started to really have purpose with dating, then we could get over a lot of things. We wouldn't have so many bad experiences, and we wouldn't have so many people hurt over things, right? Like, you can't get rid of everything, right? Not everybody's gonna like you. However, some people might not like it, but if they really had to say something, they'd be like, I mean, I respect it. You know, like I'm not, it's not the worst thing that ever happened to me, right? And that's really what I want, is our interactions and our exchanges with each other to be more helpful or just even kill, versus just being these traumatic experiences that we're just adding along the way, which just causes all types of mental illness and diseases, which is all just symptoms of our trauma, right? Essentially. So this is why I'm giving you these questions. Now, number 5, when did you last sing to yourself or to someone else? It is what it is. Maybe they're a creative person. You learn something new. See, this is about being creative and getting out of your normal routine. And you could throw in other questions that you want, but definitely try this out. Because I'm telling you, you're going to end up connecting with this person and they're going to feel like, damn, this person has some good questions. Or if they don't respond, then like, okay, they was just answering the questions because it was a date, but it's not, they're not for me. And then you just move on, because you can't have all these questions. Ask this, have a real good conversation and get to know a person, and you'll know if that person's for you. And don't force it. Too many times we force stuff because the dude looks good or the girl looks good. It's not that serious. If everybody got so much confidence, like everybody act like, it's really being narcissistic. But If everybody acting like they got so much confidence, everybody want them, then stop trying to force stuff with people that are not giving you what you need and what you desire. It's a very simple thing. Next one. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? So either you can retain the mind or the body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life. So you hit 30 and you're going to live to 90. So for 60 years, you can either maintain the 30-year-old body with a 90-year-old mindset, or you could retain a 30-year-old mindset, but you're going to have a 30-year-old body. I mean, a 90-year-old body. So which would you want? It's a very good question. It's very good. I don't know which one I would want. Because who said that 90 years old you have to have like a slow mind? Right? 7. Almost drew a blank. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? Getting into some real stuff right there. Right? Some people are not afraid of death. Some people do have an idea. Like, I remember I talked to this one girl, and she was like, I don't want to live long. Like, she was like, she didn't want to live past like 55. That was her. She was like, I'm not trying to live long. My stepfather, who actually died, he used to say, like, he didn't think he would make it past 40 because no one in his family on the man's side lived past their 40, really. And he died like at 38, 39. Some people could say he called it in, but, that's that secret hunch, right? Like, but those are things you need to know. It's, like, a lot of people are carrying things on them. And if you're not sure, then you get blindsided and then you're like, oh, why is the world falling down on me? But is it really the world falling down on you? Or is it that we just didn't pay attention and ask the right questions at the right times? We wasn't noticing and observing. Okay? Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. All right, so this is probably more or less for if you already have a partner, to kind of see what y'all think y'all have in common. For what in your life do you feel most grateful? I'm all about gratitude. So if a person really doesn't know what they're grateful for, I wouldn't say it's a red flag, because maybe they just never had anyone to really talk about being grateful, right? But also at the same time, understand if they don't care, then and you want a person that has gratitude for things, probably not the right person you want to be dealing with, right? If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? Lord knows. This is a question you need to ask. For sure. This gets into that childhood and stuff like that. And also a great question to add on to that, right? What would it be? Is, okay, you said that. So let me ask you a question. What was your favorite memory in your childhood? What was your favorite moment in your childhood? That's another way that you can build an instant connection with people. Okay? So if you ask that question, because it's like the 3 magic M's. I think I've talked about this on them, but it's the three magic M's, and I got this from Dr. David Snyder. And so the first one is like you ask a general question of like why they're there. So like, okay, so what's your reasoning for being here, or whatever it is, and then it's like, what do you do for a living, right? Oh, you. Oh, is that what you wanted to be ever since you grown up? What inspires you to be in that? Okay, that's the second one. And then the third one, which you only use if you really want to deal with the person, is the childhood memory, right? So tell me, what was your favorite memory of your childhood, right? Now you're not gonna ask that question straight out, but if you had this question, it would be a great follow up question if you're really feeling that person and you really want to gain instant attraction with them. Okay, so just remember that. So, this number 10 question, if you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? And then you could throw in that question of, so what was your favorite childhood memory? Because if they talked about this, like, oh yeah, like I love the way I was raised, like everything was beautiful. Oh, okay, what was your favorite childhood memory? Oh, I have so many, but like, and they're gonna go off and off and off, and you're gonna see the attraction start to happen. But only do that if you really want to get to know that person. That What was your childhood memory? Don't do all the extra stuff. So, so that's that. Just to help the fellas with some games and ladies too. Like if you feeling the dude, because sometimes lady y'all gotta like I'm a very like intra introvert. I don't know why. Um, and sometimes like I just like to sit by myself and not really say much at all. So sometimes if you start a conversation with me, I'll have a conversation with you. But if you don't, no, I ain't gonna say anything. I'm just gonna chill. But it really just depends, context. But sometimes if you start a conversation, you never know. Like they might, you want to talk to them, go over and talk to them. Use these questions, right? Just be helpful. And I'm sorry for the background noise. It might be some background noise because all of a sudden my apartment complex just started doing construction out of nowhere. So apologies if you do hear that. But let's get back to the lesson at hand. So, number 11, take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. See? And for my fellas out there, like we got to learn how to listen. We have to learn how to listen. Like I always live by this motto, you have two ears and one mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. It is not feminine for you to listen. It's not feminine for you to care. It's not feminine for you to have empathy, compassion. Those are strengths. We got to stop listening to these knucklehead old fools who out here just telling you all types of stuff because they just made poor decision after poor decision and then want to, it all, what is it? I can't think of the word, but it all sums up to a whole knowledge of foolishness because it's not wisdom. Just because you've gone through a lot of things doesn't make it wisdom. Just means you went through a lot of things. Until you're able to heal yourself whole from that knowledge, it is not wisdom. It's not wisdom. Until you are able to heal yourself fully, and I mean in a way that, okay, I'm not constantly still struggling over these things because I've learned this knowledge. I'm not constantly repeating the same mistakes. Like, that's real wisdom. But a lot of dudes out here just making bad decisions because we really don't have guidance. And even when you listen to some people, this is a spiritual platform. A lot of people on physical stuff or they're stuck in religion, and I'm not here to judge you, but a lot of it is still mind control. Like, I'm trying to get people out of their mind control. I'm trying to help you so that you could be empowered. You could decide for yourself. And even when you think you're going against the grain, you might still be just stuck in their mind control. It goes deep on this. But let's get back to helping you if you're, dating someone or talking to them and you want to get to know them on a deeper level. These are great questions to ask. All right, so number 12. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? I'm going to read that again. That was actually a good question. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? See, now this allows you to see what people see as their deficiency or something they're weak in. So understand this and ask yourself these questions. Like that's the great thing about this is ask yourself these questions, because then you can start to fall in love with yourself. Because that's really the goal of me doing this, is that I want you to use this not only for the person you're attracted to and trying to connect and just build deeper connections with people. It doesn't necessarily have to be in love, right? It could be in business. It could be in all different types of things. However, use these questions for yourself. It's always about ourselves and most things, right? Like I did, the relationship is not a reflection, but it is a lesson. Because it's not always a reflection of us, but it will be a reflection of us if we don't understand us. So please understand this. All right. So number 13, if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I like this. It's a very great question. Number 14, is there something that you have dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? This is big, especially if you're in a relationship. And maybe you guys didn't start off, maybe it started off superficial, but y'all willing to work with each other. Very great question to ask someone. Because you never know what people are dreaming about and thinking of. We all have our inner worlds, our inner thoughts that I don't want to say we're hiding from people, but it's just that it's just our inner chatter. So if you really say you want a real relationship, then a real relationship also demands of you. And I don't want to say demands, but if you want that real, true relationship, it really does demand that you care for the other person. People will give what they are getting when it's real. I know a lot of people have been heartbroken. They want to disagree. No, that's not right. Women are terrible. They only want your money. Why get married? Or, man ain't good for nothing. Just get their money and all this other stuff. Yada. I don't care about that. That's all low. That's all not on my level. That's low frequency. We don't deal with that over here. We are the high vibration. We change the energy when we walk into rooms. Right? So you got to start caring about others. That's why I said dating with purpose. Because when you are responsible for the person that you're dating. Yeah, contrary to what we have been taught mainstream, because it's like, if I know, like a lot of times when I see a lot of women that scorn, it's always because, the guy lied about who he was. He was lying. He was having sex with all these people and stuff like that. But if I was dating with purpose, or that guy was dating with purpose, then it would be like, you know what? I'm going to be 100 with you. Look, this is what I want. If I can't have that, let me move on. Or let me be 100 with you, right? And let you know. Now you could be like, oh, that's crazy. Why would you do that? It's only crazy. Like, why do you have to lie about who you are? If you want to be out in the streets, then run the streets. But if you don't want to run the streets, then that's cool too. Like, you're not lame because you don't want to run the streets. Like, the only people who are lame are the ones who want to tell other people that their way is right when they're already broken. like, like that's the only thing. Like, if you're functioning as a spiritually, physical, mental, holistic, healthy person, you could do whatever you want, right? But I understand that that's not the case for most people walking around. And when most people are giving you advice, they're giving you advice from a hurt place, because we don't even put in the time to do work, to even do the research. It's real talk. So now we have to not only care about ourselves, we should care about others and how we treat them during our time that we spend with them. Be mindful of it. Be thoughtful of what you say and when you say it and what you say. It's just, wouldn't you want that back? Like, that's all I ever say. It's like, would you want that? That's a simple question. Would I want that? Like, of course I would want that. So I should give it to somebody else. This is how we build real trust. This is how we build solid relationships that can make it over time. Doesn't mean it will be perfect, no. But as long as we can start to grow with each other and understand each other and continuously ask each other these questions, because yeah, this is good in the beginning, but always come back to them. Because we grow and we learn new things every day. Like, maybe when I first met you, what I wish I did earlier might change. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even really mad about that, but I do risk that I now could do this, or something might be added, something might be taken away. Get to know the person you're with on a consistent basis. So let's move on. 15. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life? I'm going to let that sit. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life? Is it superficial? Is it a little bit deeper? And when I say superficial, it doesn't necessarily mean everything that's superficial is bad. It's just that means that we're greater than that. So why stop there? If I told you could make $1 million over what you're making right now, you wouldn't be like, no, I'm fine. And you're nowhere near $1 million. Like, if you could be a teacher right now making $1 million, oh yeah, sign me up for that. I'm only making 50, less than 50 if you're in a certain city, a little bit more if you're in a certain other cities. But if you could get paid more and you could go and still do the work, of course you're going to take it. So why not the same way with us and our inner selves? Go deeper and understand who we are and get some real goals, some real nuggets, so that we know who we are, so the world can't define who we are. And we can't be tricked by those that are out there trying to gaslight us, right? Just throw information. And it doesn't mean they disagree with it. No, gaslighting. Because at first I didn't know what people were talking about with gaslighting. Let's side note. And then I saw someone write up a definition. And then I looked it up myself. And I realized, I was like, oh, so it's like mental manipulation. Like on some real toxic stuff. Right? Like trying to get you to change your thoughts. Not on facts. Just on like trying to harm you. That's real gaslighting. Gaslighting is not simply stating facts or having a different opinion than you. Maybe you're wrong in your opinion, but it's just your opinion. And your intentions are not to inflict mental harm, psychological harm. That's gaslighting. Right? So we want to be careful with that. So the next one is what do you value most in a friendship? What do you value most in a friendship? It's a good question to ask people that you're dealing with. Wherever you are, you meet a girl in the club, you want to hang out with her now, y'all go to brunch and excuse me, I've been drinking tea, so and you're doing certain things that you're in the brunch or whatever y'all do and y'all hanging out or whatever, ask a person, what do you value most in a friendship? A lot of times people just be hanging with people because it feels good, and then they're like, oh, that's a two-faced person now, because they really didn't understand the quality of the person they was hanging with. It was always just based off of one thing. Instead of, like, I'm just a fan and a proponent of understand all that is around you as much as you can. There's no need to go into anything blind. So, what is your most trusted memory? What is your most trusted memory? Or, oh, I'm tripping, wrong one. What is your most treasured memory? Sorry. I don't know, I just wanted to say trusted. What is your most treasured memory? I really do gotta get it. I should have had my glasses on for this one. So allows you to get really into a person's mind. And then what is your most terrible memory? If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, what would you change? Would you change anything about the way you are now living? Why? Right? You get to see if they faking it or not. No, I'm just messing with you. But you really do. Because when people have a time limit, people start to live differently. And also, this would be a great way for yourself. Like, if you knew you were going to die in a year, what would you do? Would you still be living the same way that you're living? Would you still be working at the same job? Would you just give up hope on all the dreams that you had? Or would you go out and try to accomplish all those things within a year? Like, what would you do? Because a lot of times when you get to sit and think about this stuff, it brings and open up doors for you to actually accomplish those things and start to really give you the energy and the thought process, and allows you to tap into your infinite power. So give it a shot. That's why I said these questions are not only for your significant other or someone, anytime you're talking to people and you're just trying to create rapport with people, but it's truly for yourself. Ask yourself these questions, 36 questions to fall in love with yourself. And then it helps to build rapport, right? Because anytime you're connecting with a person, there's some type of love. It doesn't have to be the strong, like, sexual love that everybody always thinking of. So number 20 would be, what does friendship mean to you? What role do love and affection play in your life? And how do you know? What does that look like? Because a lot of times people don't know what affection is, what love is, and how that might look. Affection might look differently for one person to the next. So it's good. And then ask them, right? Like, once you say that and they like, I don't know. Well, how do you know that you have this? Or maybe they had the question like, oh, okay, it's this. But then how do you know that you're getting this? What does that look like for you? Oh, well, it's someone who asks me about my day. It's someone who, is thoughtful. They do certain things for me that, I just mentioned, and they go ahead and do that without me asking, right? Is a person, who listens to my opinions and take them in for consideration. Doesn't mean they always have to listen to me, but they just want to hear my side of what I think when necessary, right? Those are things that matter. Or man, it might be letting me lead, letting me take care of them. It's all different ways, right? So let's keep moving. So this one, number 22, would be you and the other person just sharing with each other a positive characteristic about each other. So it should probably be like 5. So you typically would do this with a partner, but yourself, share 5 positive qualities about yourself. Like I used to deal with a lot of low self-esteem. And I knew I had a lot of great things about me, but I was always judging myself by the outer world. But then when people keep telling you certain things, it was like, okay, then I must be this. And I already knew this, but it was like I was trying to validate myself, was trying to get validation outside of me when I already knew these things, right? Like I know I'm charming. I've been told multiple times I'm charming, right? It's not something I came up with. I don't even use charming as a word, but I've been told that a lot of times. I'm funny, right? I've been told that multiple times, right? That I have a good heart, that I have a good soul. Been told that multiple times. That I'm intelligent. Been told that a lot of times. But this is what I've been told, so now I know for a fact this is true. And it's not even because of them. It's like something I kind of knew it within me, but now I know because it was validated, and now I know who I am. So now I know it's real. So do the same for yourself and others. How close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most other people's? It's a very good question. And if you see they deal with a lot of family issues and things like that, back up off of them. No, I'm just playing. But but you might have to, right? Depending on where they are in their stage of life. But it's very good to understand people and what people have gone through. Because that's the whole point of compassion. Because maybe they might be willing to work on their issues right along the way because they really care that you cared enough to ask them about it, right? And they don't want to inflict their pain on you, but they don't want to lose you, right? So they're willing to work on their issues and make sure they're not pushing their negative stuff on you, right? Because they understand, like, I know I'm here, but I love you a lot to work on this and get this together without forcing it on you. But that'll be a conversation y'all need to have, right? Don't just jump in and assume they're going to do that, right? State that if that's the case. So to move on. Number 24, how do you feel about your relationship with your mother and father? You could put both in there. Make 3 true we statements each. For instance, we are both in this room feeling. So how are you both feeling? So make 3 we statements. That's true. So this would be more of a connection and stuff, like if you're really trying to date someone. If you're just making rapport with people, you could use it if you want to. I would probably just use it for if it's more of a attraction thing. And then you got another one, complete the sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share what with. And this can actually be turned into a game. You can get a bottle of wine, or maybe y'all got some shots. Y'all could do some soul healing, right? You could have a soul party, like a real soul healing party. And it can get deep, and y'all can have fun, and y'all can really get to know each other. And when drinks are involved, people get real. All that trying to hide yourself. I'm just giving you ideas. Like, if you got a group of friends that you want to, like, especially if y'all a couple, y'all got couple groups, and y'all like, you know what? Like, come over, we're going to have some drinks, and then we're going to play this game. Right? And we all going to get to know each other. Right? And that might end up, you never know what that can do for you. Right? That might be like, you never know if you can save a person's relationship. Right? Or just make it even stronger amongst them by simply just playing a game. Like, we need to bring that back. Have something that is still get to know each other and build connections. And, what's wrong with a few drinks? If you want to drink, drink. If you don't, that's cool too. 27. If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. So if you are going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. Very simple. And then from there, you can choose, you can ask questions, you can explore, you can do what you need to do. Okay? 28. So we're getting close to the end, and I'm hopeful. I wish I just I don't know what it is. Like, if I'm just the dust or something, I might have to dust a little bit and get a duster or something, because my throat is tripping. But thank you for listening. I apologize for all that. But definitely, what was I saying? The 28. Yeah, definitely use this stuff. Right? And I hope that it's helpful for whoever is listening to this. Like, hopefully it's helpful. And it is making you think and really want to do your best in applying this to your life. And helping you understand yourself a little bit more. Okay? So tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you just met. Okay? So again, that's for a partner, but if you feel that way and want to do that, go ahead and do that. 29, share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. It's very good, because when people can know things that's embarrassing, like some people hold everything to your chest, it really just depends, right? If you get to that point where you're comfortable, cool. If they're not comfortable, now okay. When did you last cry in front of another person by yourself? So another person, or by yourself, when was the last time you cried? I don't know when the last time I cried in front of somebody. In front of somebody? Oh, it would probably be my coworker. Talking about my dreams and healing people and things of that nature. Yeah, that's for sure. And then by myself, it depends. I watch stuff all the time. I'll cry. I don't care. Cry in laughter. Crying because something hits the heart, it hit my heart. Right? So it really just depends. So don't, there's nothing wrong. Like a lot of times we hold that stuff in, and like I want that stuff out of me. Like I'm not trying to be old and whittled up and feeble because I can't cry because I'm a man, right? Or I gotta be strong. Crying is strength to get that crap out of you. So don't be afraid of it. 31. Tell your partner something that you like about them already. So this is kind of if you're still dating, use, always give people compliments. People love compliments. And let it be genuine. Don't let it be something fake. But always remind them, "Oh, I like that about you. I always like that. I love this about you. I'm always going to remind you." Right? Because then that's almost like priming them to make sure they keep doing it. And they want to keep doing it because positive reinforcement never hurt anyone. Right? It never hurt anyone. 32. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? I listen to some messed up jokes. So, I don't know. For me, I listen to some messed up jokes. I think laughter is key to me, and I think nothing. This is all of an illusion. So, for me, you can pretty much joke about anything, but some people not so much, right? So understand that. 33. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone? Why haven't you told them yet? Another great thing, just to bounce off of this, is write letters to people that you really love. So if you love your mother, like a handwritten note, just saying how grateful you are for them and how much you appreciate the things they have done will go a long way. Will go a long way. And it would make, and you never know like where people are in their minds, but just with that question, maybe you're afraid to tell them in person, right? But write a letter and leave that letter to them. Right? Like, write a letter, leave that letter to them. Or, send them an email. I mean, I like the writing the letter, but however y'all communicate, right? Just allow them, give them their roses before they're gone, right? As they would say. So just let them know how much you appreciate everything they have done. Whether it's very simple or very big. Okay, 34. Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. Only one item, folks. What would it be? Why? It's a very important thing. All right, 35. Of all the people in your family, whose death would you find most disturbing? Why? It's very good because a lot of people handle death differently. So just understand that. So the last one is share a personal problem. Ask your partner advice on how he or she might handle it. Also ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about that situation. Okay? So that's kind of like the gist of all the questions, right? So there you go. We gave you all the questions. So hopefully this helps you. Okay? Hopefully not even hopefully, take this and use this to the best of your ability. Make goal with this, right? Make goal with this because it will help. Even as I was reading this stuff, I'm like, man, I never thought about that, right? So it's just something to help you build love for yourself. This is all about self-love, self-care. So this will help you. Men, this will help you. Ladies, this will help you understand who you are. Because when you understand who you are, then the world can't tell you who you are. And they can't deceive you into thinking that you are something different than what you have established. Okay? So that's all I wanted y'all to get out of this. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I know this is super long. This is probably my longest podcast that I've done. Yep, because it hit an hour. Woohoo! So, but I really wanted to go through those questions. I really wanted to help you guys out. And so use this to your best abilities. Use these questions. Go out and practice it. And tell me, leave it in the comments. Like, did it work for you? How much did you use? Did you add new questions? Did you establish a new relationship? So the goal is that you're worthy and deserving of love. But you also have to understand how to go about it, right? So use this, and I'm grateful. Please check out other videos. Please subscribe, hit the notification button, like, share, comment. If you got a question, email me or leave it in the comment section. I definitely just want to thank you. Follow me on any other social media sites that I have in the description. And I definitely just want to let you know you are loved. If no one has told you that today, that you are worthy, that you are deserving. And I really mean this. If you want services, Cash App, all that, donate, all that, right? I appreciate you. Okay? I'll talk to you on the next episode. Peace.